Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, sat sri akal, aloha, hola, ciao, and bonjour. It's so good to be with you again today, and I'm really happy because I have a very, very special guest, Joana Leis, who is a brilliant business mindset coach, and I'm so excited to be connecting with you today, Joanna. Welcome.
Hi, Samia. How are you?
I'm doing
Thank you.
fabulous. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
Yes. And Joanna, I'm going to have you jump right in and tell us more about who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I am a business mindset coach and I dedicate my coach helping women in tech, women that are entrepreneurs and that are in technology area to overcome their limiting beliefs. The way sometimes we see ourselves and the stories that we tell ourselves sometimes are big barriers for us to progress and have the success that we want to have in our lives. So I help those women to overcome those insecurities, those stories that we tell ourselves, those thoughts that we're consistently having, and create the life that they want to have. And I think it's important to empower women in this area because it's a male-dominated area, and opportunities are increasing for women, but they're still lower than any other areas. And so I dedicate my time empowering them and make them feel they supported and guided through the process of being an entrepreneur and having their own companies.
Yay. I love that. It's so important, I think, what you are doing because first of all, technology, the industry, it's having such a huge impact on our world now. And it's so important that we have a rich diversity of peoples involved in that industry because it's like shaping so many aspects of our world. We definitely need women's presence and women's voices there. So I'm so glad that you're there to support them.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. It's very important. And I think women and from the market research that I've been doing with women in technology, some of us have a difficulty to make space in that industry and to make ourselves being heard and to create some kind of credibility in the industry just because uh, we've never been this close to reach positions of leadership or, positions of more responsibility. And now we are having that space, but still not enough. And so women have some kind of difficulty to enter and to make their voices up and raised.
Yes. So when it comes to mindset,
Mhm.
what is like a big mindset challenge that you find the women dealing with and that you're able to help them with?
Right. So there's you as an entrepreneur, you can have different limited beliefs, right? And there's current ones that happens very often with people that start their business and especially with women. And I think that this one is very common, and it's believing that I'm not enough or I'm not capable to do this.
Yeah.
I met some clients. They started in the industry of technology as web developers, for example, and they have difficulty to believe that just because they taught themselves how to survive on that industry and how to actually become profitable, they think that they're not enough because there's always people with better credentials or better experience, more of this, of more of that. And we have always this tendency of comparing ourselves in our industry, and that is just a big barrier and a big limited belief for you to develop the reality that you want to develop, right? So if you start to believe that the other person that has more experience or more of this or more of that, it's better than you, that's going to create very that's actually not going to help you develop actions for you to start your business or to develop, marketing strategies or get more clients or whatever dreams you're trying to achieve, really.
Yes, that is so true. And it's not just women in tech who have this limiting belief. I think this is one that pretty much all of us can relate to no matter what industry or work that we do. I know I've struggled with this particular limiting belief myself. And it really stopped me in my tracks, not in an absolute way, but certainly in terms of it kept me playing very small. It's like, okay, what can I do that I feel really confident in doing? But, when you're starting to think like that, eh, you really limit yourself. So it can be a huge challenge. So how do you
Right.
begin to help women deal with it?
Right. So that's why I think an entrepreneurial path, it's just so interesting because you cannot be an entrepreneur, in my opinion, or a successful entrepreneur if you didn't make some work inside yourself, if you didn't work on yourself, if you didn't work on your fears, your beliefs, and the things that you tell yourself over and over again. So I think one of the special things about having your own project is that you are kind of obligated to face these things. They're going to appear at some point and you're going to be like, oh, I didn't know that I would feel like this. And I didn't know that I was so insecure, or I didn't know that I had this difficulty to, for example, show up in social media or talk with people or whatever is the situation that you're going to feel uncomfortable. And the magic happens when you overcome those things and you transform yourself. And that in that transformation, you're going to transform not just yourself, but you're going to transform your business because you, I think you as an entrepreneur, you are your business, right? I think if you really have a straight contact with your project, I think you are your business and you're a reflection of that. So I really believe that it starts in your mind and it starts in the emotions that you're creating. That only when you have a positive and uh, a growth mindset, you can also create a successful, sustainable business.
Yeah, that is so true. Ah, I mean, you just share so much that I would love to touch upon. But I suppose one of the things that you just finished on is this concept of the growth mindset. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? How do you define it for people who are not familiar with the idea?
Yeah, sure. So I like to define that someone has a growth mindset when you are quickly to react in a situation, seeing a situation has an opportunity.
Mm,
Meaning that you can have your minutes of, frustration, sadness, and difficulty to confront the problem or the situation that you're trying to deal with. But then I think there's got to be a point in that specific moment that you're like, okay, what can I do? How is this serving me instead of being against me?
mm,
What is this and what's in this situation that's helping me, that is trying to make me grow, that's trying to make me see the other side? Maybe I need to confront this. Maybe I need to be in this difficult situation and maybe I cannot see the blessings right now. maybe I cannot understand, but I have faith that there's an opportunity. I know that. And I'm just going to surrender to the process and create the opportunity that I am sure that it's there for me. So this kind of mindset, it's what's going to sustain you
Yeah.
and to grow in whatever. This is not applied only to business, but applies to your life in general.
Yeah, that is. Thank you for sharing that understanding and that definition of a growth mindset. I really love it. It was making me think about how, if I had this or have this limiting belief of I'm not good enough, and I have a growth mindset, when I have the I'm not good enough thought, I can sort of begin to shift that to, ooh, I'm not good enough now, maybe, but I can learn and I can get better. And this is so exciting because I can learn and I can get better. And just being excited by that possibility of growth.
Exactly, exactly. And I don't think that uh, the growth that I'm talking about, it's an overnight thing. It's not. And I think you, in the process of understanding that you are good enough, you need to create strategies to love yourself, to understand how to connect with yourself. How do I look inside and understand who I am? How do I navigate all these emotions and all this feelings and things that I'm thinking? Like, you will find strategies to deal with that. And that's why I think coaching is such a powerful method to do that, because I believe that you can have this growth with somebody that can support you. And I think coaching is that, somebody that's guiding you and supporting you through the process of your own um, flourishment, your own creation of a new identity or a new person. And you don't have to do that alone. And I think I work with coaches, and I'm so grateful that I did that. And from my personal life, for my business, it helped me so much. And yeah, I just really want to say that it's a process. It's not going to be overnight, and you're not going to be um, confident or amazing or whatever definition that you have in your mind that you want to be. You can't be all of that. You just cannot turn to that person overnight, because the magic, it's in the process again, not in the terminal goal.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's such a brilliant point. And another thing that you made me think about, actually, you sort of referred to this earlier also, is that no matter who you are, no matter how successful you already may be, these kind of limiting beliefs can crop up for you when you try to grow beyond where you are now to the next stage of growth. For example, when you're first starting out and you want to first hit your 4-figure or 5-figure income level, and then you have hit your 4 or 5-figure income level, and then you want to jump to 6 figures. And then even after you hit the 6 figures, you want to make that jump to 7 figures.
Right.
I've seen so many people, um, even people who are making like 7-figure incomes, when they start to think about making that jump to 8-figure incomes, they can
Mm-hmm.
have these kinds of insecurities and limiting beliefs pop up in their mind at each stage when you're trying to take your next big leap. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So our mind triggers all the time, and it can be a very how do I say, it can be an enemy kind of thing at some points of our life, right? When we're trying to advance and trying to progress, and you have those thoughts and those stories that you're telling yourself, they're not true, but you're just really with fear of
yeah.
what's coming,
Mhm.
and fear. And really, if sometimes, that's why I think meditation is very powerful
Mm.
because when you sit down to understand what's happening and you sit down to understand your feelings and you're open it to be honest with yourself, you can understand those. So what am I feeling really? Is fear. I am, or I am having difficulty to believe that this is possible for me, or I'm feeling insecure, or I'm feel that, whatever his the story that you're telling yourself at the moment. Um, if you're aware of that, if you can be aware of the negative things that we tell ourselves over and over again, that's a very important step already for you to pass to the other side and have instead a positive affirmation for yourself and to the world, right?
Yes, that is so true. And, you know, it makes me think again of what you mentioned a little bit earlier about loving yourself and how important that is and how critical that is in this process. Like if you don't love yourself and give yourself that room, that space, that permission to love yourself no matter where you are right now in your life, what challenges you might be dealing with, but to just love yourself as you are, where you are right now, and then go deeper in that experience of loving yourself more.
Yeah, that is so important. Oh my God, because we attach ourselves with so many things external to us, and we validate ourselves through those external things, like positions, like jobs, like relationship status, uh, I don't know, social status, right? We attach ourselves with all those things. And suddenly, because life happens, and when those things are not there, who you really are,
Yeah.
right? And I like to think that we are humans of essence, not substance. I love to say that because I really believe in that. I believe that there's more inside ourselves, that it's not inherent or it's not created through external things.
Mm,
I think we are more than that. And I
yeah.
think it's only when we are able to see our true nature, our true soul, that we can navigate other things in our lives, like business, like relationships, all
Yeah.
of those things. It's so important.
Mm. So you gave a little hint about what you see as our essence, but can you tell us more about your perspective on what is our essence?
What is our essence? I think we are all love. I think we are
Mhm.
all love. It's a personal perspective. I think we are all love, and we are here to share our love with others and to impact other people's lives. Whatever the job you have, whatever uh, your purpose right now, I think we are here to serve others, to impact others. And you can only do that when you know that you are already enough, that you are love already, and that impact, it's going to happen whether you like it or not. That's why you're here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You just made me think of a couple of movies that have this theme of learning to love yourself. I remember this one movie, I watched it like, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. And if I'm remembering the name correctly, it was Penelope is the name of the movie. And in this movie, there's this girl, and she's basically, when she's born, a witch like puts a curse on her
Mm-hmm.
and deforms her face. So she has some deformity on her face, and according to the curse, it's only when she finds true love that she will be able to free herself from the curse. And so you go through this whole movie where, she's trying to find love, the true love, and her family is actually, there's like this whole story about how the family is also affected by the curse. And so everyone's trying to break free of the curse and match her up with like different men basically that they are hoping will be her true love, and
Mm-hmm.
cannot find anyone who's uh, willing to love her or love her truly. And in the end, here's the twist. I hope I'm not ruining this for anyone who wants to watch it. But in the end, she just rejects this whole notion of she has to find someone else. And she's like, I'm just going to love myself.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
actually, in that realization and in that practice of loving herself, she breaks the curse. And then, there's this whole realization around, oh my gosh, we don't have to wait for someone else, someone outside of us to give us true love. We can give true love to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
That
God.
realization is very powerful.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then there was this moment, this scene where her mother was, just so, she was like, oh my God, I, as your mother, could have given you true love. And that would have broken the curse. But I didn't either. And, we're just so stuck on sort of like the surface level of understanding of what love is and how to receive love, that we don't connect with this deeper level
Mm,
understanding.
for sure. For sure. Yeah. It's very important. And like I said, I think we all had moments of difficulty in our lives, because life, it's not just good stuff and laughs and positive things. There's also negative things.
Yeah.
And there's also times that you question yourself and you navigate these doubts,
Mhm.
right? Am I good enough? Am I worth this job, this relationship, this people that are in my life right now? Um, and it's important to go through that process. I don't think you can. I always speak about the process because I think it's so important. It's when you discover new things about yourself. It's when you discover new things about others as well, just through the process,
Mhm.
right? And I know that some people want quick results and quick finances, right? They want their bank accounts to build quickly with their business and stuff like that. I believe that some things take time for a reason, and I think it's important for us to understand and to be able to connect with the process, to
Mm.
be able to be happy with the process, to surrender to the process
Yeah.
of becoming. If you don't love yourself right now, it's okay. It's not the end. You can't learn, and there's people out there that can teach you how to do it. Although you already have it inside you, you just didn't discover, you don't know, and that's fine. You can have help outside of you that will help you with the process.
That's so true, because even as we're talking about, loving yourself, sometimes it's like you're stuck in a place where it's really difficult for you to do that for yourself. And sometimes you need someone else to just sort of support you through through the
Mm,
process.
yeah.
Um, and you're so right, Joanna, that oftentimes coaches are amazing in that way. I
Mm,
know definitely the first time actually wasn't in the context of coaching, but more in the counseling, in the context of going to see a counselor, a therapist, for the very first time in my life. And I remember one of the things that she did was that I would say something to her and then she would just reaffirm for me what I had said and just validate what I was
Mhm.
thinking and feeling. And just that was so impactful. Just to, like, I knew theoretically something, but it was so helpful to just hear her say the same thing back to me and just validate and affirm. And it, and it was just amazing. It was like the first time I'd ever reached out for help in that way. And I just so distinctly remember this being one of the things that my counselor did, but it was so impactful. Like to this day, it's like stays with me. And
Stays with you. Mhm.
oh my gosh. So sometimes it's as
Yes.
simple as that.
Of course, yeah. And the reason why I am talking about self-love in a context of business, it's because if you have your own business, you are leading. You
Yeah.
have a leadership position, right, in terms of uh, guiding others or connecting others or attracting others to your own project, your own way of doing, right? And I think it's very important for you to be centered, to know who you are, to know how to establish limits also in relationships and business relationships. That's very important. Uh, how can I establish the limits with my clients, for example, right? Um, in terms of time or in terms of respect, knowing the conditions, what's our terms, what are we going to do and what we're going to accept or not accept in our relationship, right? And I think that comes from a self-love place.
Yes.
And in business, that's very important. And to be resilient and to be connected to be able to face adversity, because you're going to have adversity and you're going to have difficulties in creating your business. It's not going to be easy. It's not. But I think if you are centered, if you know who you are, if you believe in yourself, if you know that you are here for the reason, it's so much easier to
Yes.
confront problems and difficulty when they come to you. We're like, okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared. I can do this. I can face this adversities, and I know that this is here to make me grow and to make me maybe I have some lessons to learn.
Yeah. And I love the point that you just made about the importance of creating healthy boundaries that are coming from a place of self-love. Because especially since you work with women in the tech industry where they're facing like an extra layer of challenges because of how male dominated the industry is, um, it becomes even more important for them to be even more strongly grounded in self-love and figure out how they can establish those healthy, strong boundaries for themselves. So,
Absolutely.
mhm.
Yeah, that is very important. And if you are used to be in an area that you don't have a lot of support, or you when you talk, nobody's going to listen or think that what you're saying, it's not really, it doesn't matter, or we don't really believe what you're trying to say. Um, that can be challenging, but that cannot be the reason for you to stop. That cannot be the reason for you to put that product out there, put that service out there. And your industry, your audience needs you. You need to know that you have something to offer, and you need to do it. You need to be out there and do it.
Yes.
And the fact that there's people out there, or there's a sector in a society that has difficult to understand that you also can do it. You can also be successful. You can also create something extraordinary. That does not mean that you should not try and you should not be successful. That's just the opposite. It's just something that you can show up to the world and say, hey,
Yeah.
actually, see, I can also be in the industry, be successful, be a mother, be a wife, whatever roles you have,
Mm,
right? And create all those wonderful things that you want for your life.
yes. And make the whole industry better and make the world better because, oh my gosh, I can think of so many examples of how once women came into different industries and really began to take more and more of a leadership role, the industries changed for the better, you know.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
there's something
That
amazing
is so
about
true.
women.
And sorry.
I said that's just something really amazing about women.
Yes, it is. And one of the things that I like to think is that when you're a woman creating your own project, your own company, I like to think that at least that's how I encourage women and through my programs and through coaching is that you learning how to be a leader and learn to create those skills for yourself and from the people that are going to be working with you. And from this growing inequality, which is making the world more equal as well, right? And I believe that work contexts are so important for us to feel good and feel more equally in the society, right? And if you are a woman already creating this kind of environment and helping other women coming to your industry creating the same kind of philosophy, we're just making the world better, right?
Yes, I absolutely love that. And I think probably our last question, my last question for you for today, um, is can you give any tips on how we can make this process of learning to love ourselves, developing a more empowered mindset, how can we make this process a little bit more fun?
Yeah. So I think that the first thing you need to remember yourself, and even if you don't know how to love yourself right now, and even if you don't, if you have challenge of, creating that kind of mentality, one of the things that you should know is that you are here in this world to make the most of it, to be happy, to be your whole self, right? That is one thing that you should know for sure. And then the second one, if you're struggling and if you're sad, if you're depressed, go ask for help. Really. You don't have to do this alone and you don't have to create your business alone. You don't have to face your difficulties right now alone. There's people out there that can help you. And there's also things that you can do by yourself. One of the things that I recommend 100% is that you create habits. And one of the habits is meditating, for example. I think that's um, there's a lot of benefits of meditation. One of them, it's the relationship that you're creating with yourself and the understanding that you're getting from yourself. I think it's very important. I love to do exercise. I love to sweat and be in nature or do, I don't know, yoga. I think that's one of the ways to feel good and to have other kind of energies flowing in your body, and when you move, everything moves, even your thoughts. You're moving. It's energy, right? And I think that's one of the things that are it's very important for you to start to create that magic, to start to feel love in this energetic.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, there's other things that you can do, but I would start there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanna, for sharing your wisdom and sharing your love with us. I really appreciate it. And for all of our wonderful listeners, we're going to make sure to add Joanna's links so you can connect with her So please do. You don't, just like Joanna said, you don't have to go through this alone. Please reach out for help. So you can reach out to her. I'll also drop my links in the show notes. So you can also reach out to me. And yeah, until we connect next time, I wish you lots and lots of peace and joy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. See you next time.